Hey guys, and welcome to the video and another edition of Hacking Modding Monday News and Info. For those who are new, this is a weekly segment that I do where I cover and highlight some of the things that have gone down over the past week in the world of hacking, modding, homebrews, and pirate scenes that I think you may find either useful, helpful, informative, or just entertaining. There's a focus here more on consoles and handhelds and for the end users, but we dabble every now and then here and there with some PC stuff, phone stuff, maybe Raspberry Pi, and other platforms. I appreciate you watching as always. Let's go ahead and start this week's episode. Alright, and we will kick things off with the PS4 scene, and this, an Android PS4 exploit host 6.72. This acts as a server. It's an APK you just install in your Android device like any other. This one is based off of the lethal host menu, and you have your jailbreaks here. You also have your payloads, and so you can use your phone as a server in order to host the menu. Now, the thing with this is that if this is to get updated, you have to wait till the developer themselves update this, and I believe this is the only one that you can use. However, technically you can really set this up yourself with any of the many server apps that exist for Android, and then you can have even multiple host menus in your phone, and you can use whichever ones you want. Also, this will ensure that they remain updated. You don't have to wait for the developer to update this particular APK because you're the one that will be updating the host menus. I'm going to do a tutorial on that very soon, but if you do want to give this one a try, the links will be in the description where you can come here and just grab the latest APK that's available. And continuing with the PS4, we have an update to some of the apps that normally would require you to have to sign in to PSN in order for you to use them. But these have been hacked and have been updated for those of you who are on 6.72, where you can use them where you don't need to sign in to PSN in order to get functionality from them, like YouTube and Netflix and whatnot, Amazon Prime. This has been posted here on Logic Sunrise, by the way, as I've mentioned many times before, and we will be stopping here a couple more times throughout this video. This site is in French, so you will need to translate it to your language if you want to be able to kind of read what they've posted here. I've done that with the Google Translate extension in my browser. Anyway, when you are looking for these, you need to make sure that you do a search for no PSN PS4 apps, because I cannot post the links here since this is a no-no by Sony. Not even Logic Sunrise could post up the links either, but finding them on Google should be fairly easy. And we remain here at Logic Sunrise for the next bit of news, and that is that Juni has ported Hen 2.1.3 to other firmwares that are below 6.72. So if for some reason you're stuck on a lower firmware and you cannot update, there's a possibility now that you can use Hen, depending on which one you are. So it's been ported over to other lower firmwares such as 620, 6.02, 555, and 550. So if you are stuck on one of those, you can use this Hen. Now, the one thing here is that I'm not sure if, let's say, homebrews and apps that were designed for 6.72 would work with 555 or 550 or 620, since they're designed for 6.72, but you can try them out and see if they would work. For those of you though who are on 6.02, just take note that it is incomplete, and for those who are on 6.20, this Hen 213 is unstable. And next, for those of you that have a modded PS4, we have some really good news. Group Duplex apparently has found a way to remove mandatory online and title update requirements from some of the games that require this. So I'm going to use Call of Duty Modern Warfare as an example. That game, you really couldn't play the backup of it because it needed a mandatory online update to be done in order for you even to play the single player campaign. Now, there are other games that are like this that can't be played unless you do a mandatory online update, or they actually just require you to be online in order to play. So Group Duplex has found a way to circumvent this and how to bypass it, so that way you can play these games. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare, for example, you can now play and experience the single player campaign. Now, of course, these types of games, you will not be able to go online with your 6.72 system and play people who are, of course, on 7.51 or whatever the current firmware is, but at least it allows you to experience these games. You'll be able to install, launch, and play these fake package files. You can read, if you like, all the information regarding this here at PSX Hacks. And now we move on to Nintendo systems, and let's start with the Switch and some really interesting news regarding the Dragon Injector project. Now, a quick backstory here. The Dragon Injector worked similar to like a dongle would, one of those dongles like the R4S or the RCM loader, where you would use it on one of those jailbreakable switches, you know, those like first 20 million or so switches that came out that were fully jailbreakable. Well, just like any dongle, you can use this, but the key difference here is that this was a little tiny package similar to the size of a game, and it would fit literally in the game card slot of your Nintendo Switch. You would then take it out. It came with a little jig that could be removed. You would put it in the Joy-Con rail, and then the little device itself, you could plug it into the Type-C USB connector and use it like any other dongle and inject a payload like Hecate or Atmosphere or whatever you wanted. Well, the developer creator just recently got hit with a cease and desist order from Nintendo. He posted that he can no longer obviously make the product and that he would, you know, be focused on other things, but that he just didn't have the funds to go up against Nintendo, and so he will no longer be making them. However, on a bit of positive news, he did mention one other project he's working on, and that will lead us to our next story. So that same developer is actually working on something called Dragon DSi. Now, this is a solution that will add a micro HDMI port to the Switch Lite. Now, in a nutshell, what this will do is that it will obviously allow you to connect the Switch Lite to a TV or a monitor and allow you, of course, to like capture gameplay a lot easier, or, you know, just be able to see your Switch Lite on a bigger display. Now, one thing is for sure that we know, or actually a couple of things, is that the display will be in 720p, since that is what the Switch Lite is. The audio signal will be stereo audio, and there's a few other things that he mentions here. We also do not know of an ETA of when this will be released, and he himself does not know if this is something that is going to be limited or mass produced. He's looking for a low cost effective solution, and this is all still in its preliminary stages. So if you own a Switch Lite and you're really interested in having a way to display it on a bigger screen, then you may have a solution coming your way. Alright, and next up for the Switch, we have an update to Switch Theme Injector. Now, this is a homebrew we've talked many times about. I actually use it myself, and it just gives you a way to change quite a bit on how your like home screen and stuff looks on your Switch. We've covered this again multiple times, but very quickly, this allows you to not just do like a simple background change, but you can do things like change where the icons display, how your games are displayed, and just way more than that. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of themes that have been created that are floating around out there. You can actually edit these themes, and you can even mix and match things from different themes however you like, or you can just create yours from scratch. There's literally endless possibilities here. Now in this latest update, you can grab the updated NRO file right here, just copy and paste it over the existing one. The release 4517 zip file, that is what you need to install in your PC as well in order to make all of this work and do the editing, creation, and whatever else it is you want to do. And lastly, for the Switch, we have this, a standalone version of the Psp Emulator. This emulator is a popular one. It's called Ppsspp. Now here at Logic Sunrise, they're stating that it's a brand new standalone version of this Psp Emulator, but I'm pretty sure it isn't. I'm almost positive that we've seen this already get released as a standalone on the Switch. Maybe this is done by a different developer, who knows. But anyway, this is one that has a ton of fixes and enhancements and improvements overall. Now, usually these are the same ones that you find in the RetroArch like cores, in the cores bundle that you can get even with the Switch. You can get this Psp Emulator. However, if you choose to, just use it or want it as a standalone, now you have that option. I personally like all my emulators to be all centrally located, and I love the RetroArch GUI features and options and things like that. But if you don't care for RetroArch and you just want to play, PSP games on your Switch, and you're willing to sacrifice a lot of those extras and bells and whistles, then this may be for you. The link is down below where you can directly download this, and it installs into your Switch like any other homebrew. Now let's head on over to the 3DS scene, where there's just a couple of things we're going to talk about here. First, a pretty big update to God Mode 9. Anybody who has a modded 3DS, 2DS system should know about God Mode 9. It's a full access file browser for your 3DS, 2DS systems. It's been around for a while, and it comes with a lot of features, options, functionalities, and all that good stuff. You can go to the releases to see what's been done in this latest version here, and then simply grab the zip file. There is a GM9 folder in the zip file. Copy and paste it to your SD card and overwrite the GM9 folder that's located there. And then we have a new release of a homebrew for 3DS. This is called Woomibo. This is an Amiibo emulator for 3DS that's done over the network. Now, in all fairness, Amiibo really isn't my thing. I've never used it on the Switch or anywhere else, but if you're interested in using this for your 3DS, there are simple to follow instructions, and everything you need is over in the releases page. And we will wrap things up this week by heading on over to the world of emulation, and the only thing we are going to cover here is another improvement done to Ryujinx. Now, Ryujinx is an emulator that emulates the Switch on your PC, and this has come a long way in a really short period of time. Last week, I went over how they recently were able to make it so that you could pick any resolution you wanted to using this with the Switch games, all the way up to 8K, provided your PC can handle it. And now this becomes the first emulator to implement all the audio rendering functions of the Switch to it. And they have a little demo video here that you can take a look at. And again, it's just impressive. Now, I know the Switch, part of the appeal is its portability, and you really don't get that with a PC, although we have hit or are about to hit kind of like a little mini PC boom. These things are everywhere. I even bought one myself, and I absolutely love it. Of course, it's no replacement for a full-fledged gaming rig, but what these things can do nowadays is ultra impressive, and this seems like it would be right at home on something like that. But either way, maybe one day we will get an actual full-fledged portable gaming PC like the one Alienware showed off as a concept. I think it was called the UFO. And yeah, if we got something like that, then this would be perfect for that as well. But either way, I love emulation, and the more of it we get, I think the better off we are. And that is going to do it for this week's episode, guys. You know I appreciate you watching, and if you found anything here informative, useful, helpful, or maybe just entertaining, or you just want to throw some love or appreciation to the channel, of course, the best way to do that, as always, is just to hit that like button and maybe subscribe if you haven't already. Much love going out to everyone. Be careful out there, be safe, but have fun, and we will see you on the next one.